Hello.
Hello.
And welcome to Village Vibes Podcast.
VVP. Rebranding as VVP because Village Vibes Podcast is too long. Where it takes a village, but we're going to keep it anyway.
I know. But I just feel like we should say it in the intro, no?
No, you're absolutely right. I just wish that we took more time to come up with a different name because I just am not sure if Village Vibes Podcast is aging well.
Well, you have, this was 4 or 5 years ago. 4 or 5 years ago?
Yeah.
We were different people then. What y'all didn't see is that this is our second take at an intro.
Yes, it is. Thank you, Kay, for that lovely SD card that you provided. Great. It was beautiful cards.
Okay.
Beautiful cards. That only recorded for 2 minutes. But whatever. I mean, it just doesn't matter.
I didn't know.
It just doesn't matter.
I said to you when I handed them to you, I don't know what's on here on these. I don't know anything about these, but if you can use them for any reason, you may.
You absolutely did.
I prefaced it.
Your heart was in the right place. The intention was already set. So that's what I feel coming off of you.
But the action wasn't.
Like you didn't know that the card was going to be full in 1 minute and 30 seconds. That's not your fault.
But you said you were going to check the cards.
Well, I did, but I didn't know I needed to check how long we could record for. I don't have that option unless we're actually recording.
Okay, so
I'm not blaming you, sis. We're back. We're back.
Okay, so
we're back amidst all of this stuff.
We acknowledge that it's been a little bit of time, since
and we shouldn't have left you without a dope podcast to step to.
I like how you did that.
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Sometimes the lyrics are on and
sometimes they're just not and just random.
And that's okay.
It is. I'm really grateful. So we got to get this ball rolling because we now have a 28-minute show for y'all. Mm-hmm. So for all you girls who've been complaining this whole time about the length, when I told you all you got to do is take one trip to your job and one trip back and the show will be over. But whatever, the girls were like, it's too long. I'm like, first of all, get your attention spans together. Second of all, you're welcome.
In conclusion, who's your bae of the week this week?
Okay. All right, y'all. So my bae of the week goes to, I have a few. I'm going to go quick. Female rap. I don't know if I want to call it a resurgence or what, but I am loving the collaborations. Mm-hmm. I am loving the artistry. Even though Risha and JT, which y'all did on that Do It remix from Chloe and Halle was full garbage. I don't know. It was like y'all didn't even try. It was just like, girl, let me just go ahead and give you this hamburger helper lyric version of this song. It was trash. It was trash, especially because Doja Cat brought fire. And that Doja Cat. But female rap, and it's doing something right now that I'm appreciating. I loved what Meg and Cardi did. Let me just say Cardi and Meg, whatever. That they did when they're bringing all of these women together and bringing all this artistry together. Like, I feel like back in the day, there only had to be one. There was only a lane for one female artist. And then if there's more than one, you had to compete and it had to be a nasty beef. And I know that was industry stuff, but I feel like those artists kind of fell into that bracket naturally because when you're in an industry that kind of moves how you move, that narrates how you move, you start to kind of take on that a little bit. And so I really felt like Nicki Minaj was kind of the last that was bred in that narrative and rooted in that. And so there was a bit of...
Well...
maybe not.
No, I think that Cardi was too, but I think what made Cardi different, and I think this is where I understand, I understand that maybe she's not like the best spitter that we've ever heard.
Sure.
But what she did differently and what she should get credit for in terms of the culture is I think she realized that she was falling into that narrative and then actively worked against it.
Yes.
And said, let me now use my platform. Now that I have this major platform, I'm just going to put women to the forefront.
Yeah.
And
that's brilliant.
We really haven't seen a top dog like that. That's not true. That's not true. But I do think that she plays a major role in.
I think yes, absolutely. I think what played out publicly is what could give you that idea that Cardi was falling into that grouping. But I think
that was being put on her.
Yes, but she didn't really fall for it. I don't think.
Right.
Like when I saw that tweet where Meg said Cardi was the nicest person she had ever met. Somebody responded and said, "Take note," because that other girl's not doing that. So I mean, I would hope that. And then the other part that I like about it is that you feel it. When Meg and Nicki did Hot Girl Summer, I still got the sense that Nicki was operating out of this "I'm sunning you" type thing. I'm here and I've been here and I'm gonna groom you. You know your place. And I didn't get that with Cardi and Meg. So I'm loving that. I'm loving Trina Mulatto and Saweetie. I mean, I still want Saweetie to work on that ABCD rapping that she does, but it's fine. Cardi does the same thing, but Cardi has a personality that really shines through on me. For me, what am I missing? So I'm loving the collaborations. I do want to see more Cash Doll. More Dreezy. I still feel a way about the fact that nobody gave Chanel Slides what it deserved. I mean, I walk out here and I say Chanel Slides.
Those verses are so good. So, even some of the one-liners like "so fresh you don't have a sell by." Come on, that's so creative.
You don't even have.
It is a really good song.
It is. And I walk out here and I say, "Hey, Chanel Slides," and the kids don't know what I'm talking about. And they're like, "What do you mean?" That is the sickest verse that Cash has ever spit. And it was just good. My other Bay of the Week is going to go. Did you want to add anything to that? The other Bay of the Week goes to my hometown, Washington, D.C. Thank you for having me. Because of everything that's going on, I'm just not a proponent for social meeting all of my trips and stuff like that, or showing y'all I'm here or getting on the plane there. It's not something I want to do. No shade to anybody else that is kind of showcasing their travels during COVID-19, but I just couldn't do it.
I understand.
I went home for a month and I was recharged, renewed, and revived. And it put a lot of things into perspective for me. Like, I recognize now that Portland is home. I'm really pleased about that. I have garnered so much more appreciation for my family. I'm really happy to be doing healing work with my family over on the East Coast. But I feel more solid coming back to Portland, even though Portland is really up in flames right now.
It's well, yeah.
For a number of reasons. Outside of the family dynamic, it's other stuff going on here that it was really hard to watch what was happening in Oregon from DC. Now, here's the other thing that I'll add to that: the imagery, the way that news casts news from DC, watching what's happening in Oregon, it was very disheartening. It was very traumatizing. I mean, we see it now even being here, but like for some reason, it's just like when other countries show media from the States, it looks awful.
But even our media here doesn't make it look
doesn't showcase the truth,
right? And I mean, we both. I think anybody living in Portland has had folks from that don't live in Portland and contact them and say, "Oh my God, that stuff in Portland."
Okay?
Yeah. But the truth is, like, I would say 95% of the protesters or demonstrators that I've seen are peaceful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Actually, I have not personally. I haven't been at protests, but like I've just seen a ton of protesters completely peaceful. I think that it's all kind of painting a picture, but it
feels like a big plot. It all feels like it all feels very planned. All the protests, the killings,
it's a lot of grief.
The all of it. It's a lot of grief. It's a lot to deal with. And
it's back to back.
It is. It's been back to back since March. I mean, since the existence of time. But like and child. So DC, thank you for showing me a good time. Thank you for the great seasoning. Thank you for the seafood. Thank you to my friends and my family. Thank you to everybody who I got to connect with and begin the healing process with, and like just be adults and talk right now. It was a joy. It was a joy. I had a great time seeing my village over there that helped raise me as a kid. Everything went well, except with maybe one or two family members. One family member, one friend. So still a great experience despite that. I'm
happy for you.
Thank you.
I think the running joke before you left was, so that you all know, was I thought that I was going to get a letter in the mail that said, "My dearest Kayla." And it was going to be like a Dear John letter. Like he was never coming back.
Never.
So I'm happy that you had it and that it was a good time. It was a nice time for me too.
I bet you had such a grand time without me in this household. Really quick, I'll go. SZA, thank you. I still don't want to. I don't want to hear anything live from you, but I will take these. I will take these studio songs and these albums and this choreography and these videos. But I mean, you have time to get your vocal training underway and all that stuff.
You don't even need to do. You don't even need to do.
All I'm saying is, All right, next. I want to give it up for Lovecraft Country, what you all are doing, and HBO. The HBO has got their finger on the pulse. The girls over there know.
Yep.
I think they have a black president or CEO or something right now, and so bring it all in. And then finally, I just don't understand why our heroes have to exit, and the people who are doing the most damage to our existence are still here and walking. I just don't get it. Chadwick Boseman, that man is. I don't understand why he had to go.
Same.
And these other people, the worst kinds, are walking. That's it.
Just feels so unfair.
And it feels unfair, and it's contributing to this. It's impacting communities. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
Do you remember when Black Panther came out? Do you remember? I know how I felt. I know that I rolled up in the theater with like 60 plus people, deep in African garb, thrilled. So that was tough. And there's more I want to say about that, but pressing forward. But I want to give my love to Chadwick Boseman and to be able to be doing the work that he was doing while dealing with cancer to that magnitude. Volumes.
Just to be kind of at the center of like maybe one of the most important films.
Absolutely.
It's just too bad. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. I would much rather it had been somebody else. I mean, that's all I can say.
You could go. Yeah. She could go. Get her out of here.
Just seeing the news, it was like, why? Why
this? We just got the news that Jacob Blake. We just got the Jacob Blake news. We just got more news, and it was just like boom, boom, boom. Like, what's going on?
Man, it's just it felt like one of those blows that was like, come on. It's
like, bro, seriously?
Yeah.
Like
that one shook the planet too.
Yeah.
I mean, that one.
You know, I don't talk to God. I looked up and I said, "Are you kidding me?" I said, or wherever you are, I said, this is too much. You can't do this.
You said, I know. I don't talk to God.
I was like, for real?
Yeah.
It's like, are you serious? Okay.
Yeah. That is really what it felt like. So he was also my Bae of the Week, and as well as SZA. But I think I'm also gonna say myself too, because because you had been gone, I got to spend some time alone, and that was
you were worried about it too, right? You were worried about kind of being by yourself.
I was.
Yeah.
I was really concerned about it, I think. Well, and I stayed concerned about it the first couple of days because it was not something that I was used to. Without going into too much detail, it's just been a long time since I've kind of had that space. So it was an adjustment. I didn't realize how much of an adjustment it was. It did, but then after a couple of days, I was like, oh, okay, this is fine. I'm fine. I think I just had so much anxiety about it because, I had really never spent that much time just to myself, but it was freaking awesome.
Yes.
And I want to do it more.
Yes.
I spent my birthday alone, and I loved that. I think other people thought that was kind of strange, but I really enjoyed it. So I would say myself. I had a really nice time with myself. I enjoy spending time with myself.
Yes.
I prefer to spend time
I support
by myself sometimes.
I lift you up.
I typically don't piss myself off.
I know the house was squeaky deaky. Okay, honey. The house you had taken on projects. Stuff was aligned.
Well, okay,
stuff
mind
was
you
in formation.
Too, it was also my summer break, so I wasn't working. So it was like, good stuff.
I always support people being by themselves. I know that's really tough for a lot of folks, but I mean, I love it. I'm an only child, so I do great alone. Did you have time to process certain things?
Listen, girl,
how did that turn out for you?
Things would just come up. Well, should we just get into what I learned?
Yes, let's go into what I learned. What I learned.
Okay. Oh wow. Okay, so let's see. It was okay, so it was a lot of growth. It was like once I was alone, it was like all of these things came up. Stuff that I had no idea would come up. And they were things that I was kind of shocked by. I was like, but then I had to remind myself, like, this stuff is coming up because you know that you have the space for it right now.
Okay.
So I think it was just like a naturally kind of like, girl, well, what else are you gonna do? You might as well start to kind of like get into some of that ugly stuff. So it wasn't like pretty I think especially those first few days trying to adjust and just adjusting and understanding like what it was that I wanted to get out of that time and also just the anxiety of being alone. I think realizing that hadn't been something that I had for a long time and not really knowing what it was going to be like. I think that was it too. And on top of COVID, and it's not like I can I'm going like to parties and stuff. I mean, I still had opportunities to socialize, absolutely. But, I think so I had, and I think that I was expecting a lot out of that time. So I think that was part of the anxiety that I had about it too. But eventually it was just kind of like, I'm just going to do what I want. I mean, that really was what the time was for, was to just to get to know myself better, but also just to do what I wanted to do. And that's really how I got to utilize it. So I'm really grateful for a kind of a new space for me to have I hadn't.
I'm really happy to hear that, because I think when you picked me up from the airport, in my brain I said, she's probably done. She's got these 2 dogs. She probably wants to just rest and take a break somewhere and exit for a little bit. I thought that you needed your own, like, now it's my turn to exit the house and go live and do something. But you said, no, this time alone has been phenomenal for me. It's been revealing. I've been able to open up to myself. Yeah. And I was just like, okay, sis, like, look at you. Yeah. And I think that was something that was necessary for both of us. I had to go, it was time for me to go, for sure. And you needed this space alone, because I think in some ways in this month, we've both been transformed. Like, I came back with a different thought process. I came back with a different set of emotions. I came back able to deal with everything that's going on around me in these environments a lot better. I'm able to handle it. So kudos to you, sis.
Thank you.
Because you've done your growing too in this month.
I would say transformative for sure. It was definitely, I definitely have I feel different. This is the first time I've started my job, because I always start in September, and I'm always so stressed in September because it's stressful. And this is the first year where I haven't felt that. And this is not an ideal teaching year because of COVID.
Sure.
But I mean, I'm still stressed, and I still get I think the first emotion I felt in my first staff meeting was anger. But
good. Okay.
But
noted.
I mean, the stress isn't gone, but I think that I have a different handle on those things now. And and I'm really grateful for it. And anyway, so that's really the gist of what I learned.
Go off.
That, and just a quick reminder that you can't just be anti-racist in one area of your life, okay? So if you're just being anti-racist in this one conversation, but you're not being anti-racist in the rest of your life, you're actually a racist. I just wanted to say that because I feel like some of you guys don't know that, because you think that like reposting memes on Instagram is like, oh, I'm being anti-black,
and I'm doing the work.
I'm being anti-racist. And you just aren't. Your caption's not good enough. Your post isn't good enough.
It's not good enough until you get to the point where you ask yourself the question, as a white person, where do I think I may be contributing to this?
Yes.
And in my ways. And people always just think the extreme. Like, again, girl, ain't nobody saying that you the leader of the Klan. But I'm just saying, take a good old nice piece of look into your daily interactions. It
doesn't take a white hood to make you racist.
Yes.
Okay.
Facts.
Okay. Seeing how people view anti-racism is really revealing.
And understanding that it's not like these are things that you've been brought up with. These in your institutions, in your schooling, in your neighborhoods, in gentrification, or displacement or misplacement.
Well, that's the thing too, is that you can't only be anti-racist in one realm of your life, because that touches every single realm of your life.
Say it.
So I just wanted to remind you all, because I feel like maybe some of you think an Instagram post is enough, or maybe if you're doing it, having conversations with this one person but not someone else, it's enough. But it's not enough. It's not enough.
Keep doing the work. Just keep moving forward with the work, and ask yourself the tough questions. I think that is the biggest thing. It's just like, do not think that you're exempt from this because you do a little good here and there, or that you volunteered here. Like you have to constantly be monitoring how racism comes up in your daily existence.
Exactly.
It is a continuation of work.
If you're truly anti-racist, you are checking yourself on that.
And the first thing is to recognize I have privilege just because of this layer of skin on the outside of my muscles and my bones. Like, period.
Yeah.
So,
okay. And what did you learn?
So I've been doing a lot of thinking about people's stories, what makes them who they are, coming off of what we're talking about, right? And the things that occur in their lives to shape them into the human beings that they are. And I mostly say this because I've learned that everyone's intent isn't to always want to work together, isn't always to want to heal or to listen or to take responsibility or be held accountable. Like, that's just not going to be in the cards for some folks. It's just, it might not be something that they will ever be checked on, or that they'll check themselves on or recognize or realize. And then trying to figure out how best it is for me to move when I understand that somebody who's close to me, or who I thought was close to me, isn't the person I thought that they were. Or as they've like what has brought them to this place. At one point I thought I knew this person. At one point we were friends and what I thought was close. And then we get to today, and the things that have happened in your life have changed the way you operate.
Right.
And it doesn't have to be anything drastic, but like, it's just the ways of thinking. And it's just like, I challenge myself to say, okay, how can I think about this differently? But I can't do that but for so long, because after a while, I'm just like, now I'm just getting further and further away from how this is making me feel. And so I have to stand true on my own two legs and say, maybe this isn't working for me any longer. And I can't be a part of this friendship or this relationship because it does not suit me. It does not serve me. And that sucks, because I don't like not all of a sudden being friends with somebody who I've been friends with for a really long time. I don't like that feeling.
Right.
Like, I'll do the work, but if you continue to act the way that you do, we can't.
Right. But if you're the only person doing the work, like you said, which I really appreciate how you worded this, but you had said, I think you had just said that the more time I spend doing all of that work for you, the further away I get from how I feel and how it makes me feel. And that's just the truth. I think adulthood changes things, because some folks find that within themselves to be able to check themselves and hold themselves accountable and those kinds of things, and some don't. And I think that causes that has a tendency. I have found that one of the things that makes humans so difficult is that taking accountability piece, that so many people don't know how to actually do that.
Right. I personally don't understand why that's such a struggle. Because especially if somebody is present for somebody who I call a friend or somebody who I consider close, is telling me that, hey, I'm observing this, I'm witnessing this. Right. And you flip it. Yeah. You flip it back on them and just like push it back towards them and don't receive the information or take it as an attack. The other thing I learned is through that process of thinking, I've recognized the subtle ways that I manipulate. And so I'm curious if there are folks in my life who have been impacted by that, because in that situation, I didn't recognize that maybe I was being manipulative. So there's that. So we've got to close with our good old It's a Vibe. Yes. Yeah, it's a vibe.
Okay. It's a vibe or not? Mulan. Live action. Oh, we need so much more time.
It's solid. We'll go to 30. It's fine. We'll go to 30.
No.
Mulan, Mumu, you know, she gets a B from me. I don't know what the girls are doing with that CG. I know we were talking about Mushu not being there, but this Phoenix thing, sorry, spoiler alert. I was just like, why is it here? Why the ribbons? I just don't need it. Don't need it. The acting I dealt with, there were some things that it touched on. There were some homoerotic things going on. There were some gender pieces going on, some fluidity going on. I was like, no, we're not going to. But they kind of breezed past it. They touch on it.
I wish that they would have. It was way too passive. It should have been more active.
Give me.
But I do like that they. Refreshed, that they updated the storyline.
Yes.
For it to fit live action.
Yes.
Which they haven't done with any other live action.
Here for it.
Okay.
Enjoyed it. It's a vibe. So it's a vibe. Ish. It's a vibe. It's a vibe. Did you say it's a vibe?
Yeah.
Okay. I May Destroy You series on HBO.
It's a vibe.
A full vibe.
Oh my God.
Got me questioning
everything.
My own levels of sexual assault, or if I've done anything. I just was like, ooh, okay.
It really does make you feel like, ooh, I really need to look at my own.
I need to look at my own.
Yeah. Wow.
Chile.
So it's a vibe. Brilliant.
It's a vibe. Absolutely.
It's a WAP.
Listen, wear a mask, please, is everything that I need. WAP, WAP, WAP. I'm here for it. I don't care what none of these people are saying.
Not one.
The choreo, the visuals,
everything about it.
Let the boobies rain. Let them come out. Bring them out. I want to see. I love that bottom feeder line. If he can't hang, then he can't bang. Meg stormed that.
Her verse.
Miss Cardi did too. I wanted Cardi to give me more choreographically. I was like, girl, you can't, because Cardi had on them thick old chancletas, and Mama Meg had on a full stiletto. I was like, girl, you better get with it. What about you? It's a vibe. I'm next.
No, it's yours.
It's mine. Jessica Krug.
We
get her
don't
out
even.
Of here.
Yep.
Get her out of here.
Goodbye.
Get her out of here.
Just
y'all need to stop doing so much damage to. Y'all do damage to black and brown folks in ways that y'all don't even know that you know is damaging. How dare you?
The dangers of WW. Let's just call it
absolutely.
But wow.
Appropriating culture to the point of like
what
the existence of black and brown people. I can't believe it. Your turn. Not a vibe. Get her out of here.
Not a vibe. Yeah. So, and that rounds out our show.
Thank y'all so much.
Get her out of here.
Get her out of here. I will just say this really quick. For the first time in state's history, New Jersey is sending a black woman, Fabiana Pierre-Louis, to serve as state Supreme Court Justice after the state Senate unanimously confirmed her nomination. Got that from the root. It is an absolute vibe for me, but it shouldn't have taken this long. Period. Thank y'all so much. Tune in next week.
Thank you. It takes a village.